Hey everybody, this is TotalGamerJunkie. I want to welcome you all back to my channel. So in this video, I want to bring up this theory that was mentioned to me by one of my commenters, who I'm probably going to butcher this pronunciation, I apologize. But Mild or the Olon, apologize if I mispronounced that, had an interesting theory about why Max can't travel back through time. And he believes that the Max we're going to be playing as through double exposure is an Auto Max. Now, for those of you who might be confused, as you know in Life is Strange 1, whenever Max travels back in time and makes a change in the past, she immediately jumps back to the present the moment she left, and her past self is put on autopilot. Now, I've been thinking about this a while. Is it possible for Auto Max to use a photograph to travel back in time? Because if you remember, when Max, in the Everyday Heroes timeline, Max uses a photo in the dark room to travel back to another part in the dark room, and then she's able to travel back to the very beginning of the game. And she changes events in the past to make sure Jefferson and Nathan get arrested, and she ends up winning the Everyday Heroes contest. Now, what's interesting is, like, everything is mostly the same up until Max saves Chloe from getting crushed by the train. After that part, everything changes. And we know, at least I know, from looking at it, Max at this point in time has her ability to rewind time, because if she didn't, Chloe would be dead in both episode 1 and episode 2. Well, unless you're really good at stopping the train from hitting Chloe and you're fast enough, you don't need to use your rewind power. But basically, Max saved Chloe in the bathroom. She obviously used her rewind power. Now, even though Max can use her rewind power, at least an Auto Max can, Deck 9 has stated that in double exposure, Max has lost her ability to rewind time. It's evolved into shifting between realities. And that's what got me thinking. Do you remember towards the end of a trailer, the powers unveiled, and the beginning of the reveal trailer for double exposure? We see that Max, she finds Sophie's body dead, but unlike in the game, she's not wearing a beanie. And towards the end of the reveal trailer, we see Max, it appears she's discovered her power. And I gotta be honest, this one, it's just felt a bit weird, because we know that it's after Sophie's death when Max discovers she has her power. In fact, I believe it's when Max, as we see in this new trailer, she has a meltdown with everyone. It's like, why are you acting normal? As if Sophie died of a heart attack or was in a car crash. She was murdered. I believe it's at that point then she unlocks her power to shift between realities, and we see for the first time she does it, and the next scene is of Max and Sophie's mum sitting at a table. Now, if you look towards the end of the game, you see that Max, she isn't wearing a beanie, she's crying, and there's snow, and it looks like this is the first time she's using her power, because she looks very confused here, and she decides to open Tear, and it's very unique, because we haven't seen her do anything like this in the gameplay footage at all. She always just waves her hand, and boom, you're in a new timeline, and then you can switch back and forth between whether Sophie's alive or dead. So I've just been a bit confused about what this could mean, and I think I might know. I think Auto Max, it's not an Auto Max as I described. I think what's happened here is that Max without the beanie, who opens that big ass portal, that is the original Max. And trying to save Sophie's life, she ends up creating this second world. And we see Max here, the one we play as. Like, when she opens that portal, that's when the beginning of the game happens, and Max makes up, and depending on what ending you choose, determines what photo Max has of Chloe, and then we play the game. And it makes sense to me, because think about it, if Max is shifting between these two timelines, what happens to a Max in in what's going on, because is she shifting her mind into another body? Is her body on autopilot while she switches into another one? It would explain the blackouts she has, because if Max can switch into another version of herself in the timeline where Sophie's alive, then wouldn't it be possible for the first Max who created this new timeline to shift into the Max we're playing as? Now, interesting thing, there is a video from the YouTube channel Gamespot, and there are these two people talking about Life is Strange, and one of them brings up something very interesting about Max's powers, and he mentions how Max's power basically evolves. He says, Max's power evolves again. She somehow manifests a giant telescope from another timeline which was just in parts in front of her, and she's like, damn, I wish this telescope was there, and it pops up. So if Max is able to do this, it's similar to if you ever played Bioshock Infinite. That's what vibes I'm getting off. Elizabeth can see these tears and she can open them. Her power is limited when you first meet her, but towards the end of the game she gets complete control of her powers and she can do whatever, go to any other timeline, manifest anything, and I get the feeling that's what Max is doing. So the Max we're playing as might not be the original Max. It might very well be another Max, and that could be why the disaster happens, because we know that a disaster is going to happen. It could be a meteor strike, it could be another storm, who knows. But we can see from the trailer that reality is breaking. The detective sees another version of himself, the two moons and the dark clouds. That could be the reason why Max passes out after she takes a photo of an owl. What? Because it looks like that moment where we find Sophie dead when playing the game is around the exact same moment that the Max without the beanie will find Sophie. The circumstances will be slightly different, but then that Max discovers that she can create a new timeline where Sophie is alive, and she does that. And then that's why the Max who takes a picture of an owl, she passes out, she has a vision because her other self has created a new timeline, reality's getting screwed, and so this is her power warning her, don't save Sophie, your other self did try doing that and it backfired spectacularly, do not do this. And I'm very interested to see if that's true, if it will play out, because I don't know, because as it said, Max was able to manifest this telescope from nothing. So if Max is able to do this, like, it could be, she could very well use her powers to prevent the disaster after all, like, get rid of it. But that's really all I wanted to talk about. There is a lot of other stuff I want to discuss, but we got new gameplay coming out, when was it? Late August, early September. So I could be proven wrong, but I thought it'd be interesting to discuss this here. I'll leave a link in the description below to that GameSpot trailer so you can check it out for yourself. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. This is TotalGamerJunkie, signing off.